Hello and welcome to my first ever booktube video. No. Hello and welcome. Hello everybody and welcome to my first booktube video. I am super nervous about this, but super excited. I am used to talking to a mic because I make other YouTube videos on another channel, but I'm not used to having my face on camera. So we're going to see how this goes. But I wanted to start a booktube because I am obsessed with books. You probably can see, actually, that's not even that much. I want a whole library. I need more books. But anywho, I love books and I want to talk about them with you guys. I want to meet people who love books just like I do. So we're going to get started. But we are going to be talking about the books that I read in 2023. Well, actually just the favorite books, because if we talked about the books I read in 2023, we'd be here forever. So we're going to talk about my favorites. I have, I'll probably include some 4 stars, but obviously I'll include 5 stars, but that's what we're going to be doing. And then we are also going to be talking about, I don't know why I say we, yes, we're talking together, but I'm just talking to you guys. So I am going to be talking about my favorite reads of 2023 and also books that I plan to read in 2024. So let's just get started. Also, I know that so many people probably say this in their videos, but excuse the background. And if you see any dogs on the, going past, I promise it's a dog. It's okay. But yeah. All right. So I got a Kindle for my birthday in 2023, for my 23rd birthday. And so a lot of the books are going to be on Kindle. I'm not going to lie. I kind of have just stopped purchasing books, physical books altogether. Although lately I have been missing reading physical books and I've been wanting to buy a couple. There's just something about having the book, but it's such a bad thing because it's if I read something and I'm obsessed with it on my Kindle, I'll want to purchase it physical, a physical copy. And why? I already have read the book. It's just going to be sitting there. I don't know. It's probably so I can highlight it and write in it and stuff. Anywho, a lot of them are going to be Kindle Unlimited recommendations. So if you have a Kindle, great. If you don't, you could obviously still go out and purchase these books. It's not just Kindle Unlimited books only. You can physically purchase them. So it probably got a little bit brighter in here. That's because I had to pull up my Goodreads. Like I said, a lot of them I don't have the physical copy of. So I had to pull up so I can remember the digital ones that I read. I had 34 total books for 2023, which isn't a lot at all. My goal this year is 50, which again isn't a lot. But I just started getting back into reading in 2022, 2021. But that's besides the point. I'm not going to talk about 34 books, so I'm going to just narrow it down to my favorites. And also, a lot of these are going to be romance, drama, some spice. So I'm going to definitely like include the spice level in case that's not your thing. I'm also, obviously going to include the stars that I rated it, and maybe just like a couple of if there's any trigger warnings. I know a lot of people do that. But like I said, I'm new to this. This is literally my first video. So just bear with me if there's something that you wanted to know about the book that I didn't explain. Okay, so the first one I actually do have a physical copy of, and this is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is definitely a really good emotional read. At least it was for me. It's not your fun, spicy, drama-filled book. Okay, it has some drama in it. That's the point. The plot is drama filled, but it's more emotional, sentimental. It is friends to lovers, best friends to lovers, a second chance type thing. It is about two people named Macy and Elliot. They used to live next to each other. When they were younger, they did have, a little bit of something going on, just that preteen type of romance. It was really cute. It went into kind of the way that the story is set up is it kind of is alternate timelines. So if that's not your thing, this book might not be your thing, but I kind of liked that. Like I usually don't love that in books because it gets confusing. If it's switching from 20 years ago to now, like constantly going back and forth, that can be kind of confusing, but I actually really liked it. I really, really liked it. But it kind of just switches back and forth between when they were younger, like preteens, to Macy and Elliot as adults meeting again. And that's not a spoiler. Like it says in the description that they run into each other again. But Macy has, somebody else in her life that she loves. But it's just a really good, like, second chance book. It definitely made me cry. It definitely got me in my feels. It has a little bit of spice in it towards the end. I honestly, like, it's been a while since I've read it, so I'm trying to think of how much it was, but it definitely wasn't a lot, like, in terms of what I think is a lot. I would say on the spice scale, it's a one chili, whatever. But it's just so good. It's such a good romance. There's a lot of pining, if that makes sense. Like they definitely are figuring out that they have feelings for each other still, or have always had feelings for each other. It's just a really good book and I highly recommend it. So yeah, that is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. Does anyone else get the weirdest recommendations on their Kindle? Like, this is literally a picture of a squirrel. It's a bedtime story for kids. And I've never looked up anything like that. I have no idea why it would recommend that to me. It's just really weird. Anyways. All right, the next book that I'm going to recommend is a mystery thriller. It has a little bit of romance in it. It is by none other than Frida McFadden. I've read it on my Kindle, so I will just I will just pop up a little picture here of what the cover looks like. It is called The Housemaid. It is so good. Like, if you need a good thriller to just make you feel something, just get you going, like, it's so good. You just don't know what's going to happen, honestly. Like, I hate thrillers that are really, really predictable, and this wasn't. Like, there were some moments where, it might have been a little predictable, but overall, I think that Frida McFadden is honestly, like, so good at doing thrillers and mysteries. And I call this a thriller because, like, yeah, there was a mysterious element to it, but for some reason there was, like, a thrilling element to it as well. Like, there was a lot of creepy scenes where it had my heart racing. I was like, what the heck? I was about to say a bad word. But no, it was really good. So basically, like the title says, The Housemaid. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is just in one person's point of view. The main girl who is a housemaid for a very wealthy family, Nina Winchester and her husband. And I don't think they have a kid. It's been a while since I've read the book, but anyway, she becomes a housemaid for Nina Winchester and her husband, Andrew. And it is just a roller coaster of twists and turns. And there's just like a lot of creepy things going on in the house and a lot of creepy elements to it. And you really don't know who the bad guy is. Like, that's the best way I can describe it without spoiling anything. Like, you don't know who to believe. You don't know what to believe. That's all I'll say. It's a really good book and I highly recommend it. All right, this next book is called To Sir with Love. It is so cute. I've honestly never seen anything like it or read anything like it. It is such a cute idea. So we have our main girl, Gracie. Her father just passed away and she is going to Manhattan to take over his champagne shop. And then she meets this a-hole who just comes in and says that her business is going to fail and he wants to buy it out from her. And she, being the headstrong businesswoman that she is trying to prove him wrong. All the while, she is also talking to this mystery man on a dating website or dating app, like I guess either or. And it happens to be the guy that is the a-hole. Like, but she doesn't know that because the dating app is like a blind dating app. She doesn't know who his name is, like what his name is. She doesn't know who he is, what he looks like. So she doesn't know that the guy that she hates with a burning passion is actually her soulmate, basically. It is just such a cute story. And like, even though, you know that, oh my gosh, she's talking to this guy and she knows him in real life, it's still like a good buildup of like, oh, she's gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, even though you know the main plot, like obviously she's gonna figure it out eventually. That's the whole point of the story. It's still a good buildup of her figuring it out. So that is a really, really good book. It is called To Sir with Love by Lauren Lane. All right, next up we have one of my favorite romance authors. It is Megan Quinn. If you read romance, then you probably know Megan Quinn is really, really good at romance. I mean, at least she is to me, like to each their own, but I love her. She has a series called the Kane Brothers series, and this is actually the third book in this series called A Long Time Coming. I'll put like a little picture of it now because I also read it on Kindle Unlimited. It is free on Kindle Unlimited. So I guess I have a thing for like best friends to lovers, because this is also a best friends to lovers. It involves a man named Breaker and his best friend Leah, and they actually live in the same apartment building. They have been friends for such a long time. I believe they met at like some sort of like gaming, like it was like a board game or something, like a board game club. I forgot. It was some kind of game club. It wasn't video games though. But anyways, they hit it off. They just have been best friends. Like that's all it's been. It's been completely platonic. And Leah, which her name's Ophelia, but he calls her Leah for short. And I think that's so freaking cute. He is like, I have no words for Breaker. Like, you just need to read this book to figure out the kind of man Breaker is. Like all of the Kane brothers. I can't. Okay. Whew, it's getting hot in here. But anyways, Leah has a fiance and Breaker does not like him one bit, but he doesn't tell Leah that because you know what? I don't know why. I guess there wouldn't be a book if Breaker was just like, Leah, you need to dump his ass and be with me. No. But Breaker is just secretly pining over Leah. And I mean, it doesn't really get into that until like maybe the middle or end of the book, but it's in both point of views, which is really nice because, you get to see Breaker's inner monologue, his thoughts that he's thinking about Leah's thoughts. I don't want to spoil anything about the romance, but I would say this is probably like a level 3.5 on the spicy scale. But to some, this might be more than 3.5. It's just that I've read other books that are definitely spicier than this, but it's definitely a spicy book. Yeah, like it's really good. But anyways, Leah's fiance is just like not a good person. Like he's kind of a selfish biatch, and Breaker kind of helps Leah to realize that. I wouldn't say there's cheating, but there's definitely, there is a little bit of flirting. They start to get closer even while they're still engaged. But there's nothing physical at the time that they're engaged. If that kind of stuff bothers you, you might not like this. But it is a really good read, and I honestly kind of want to read it again just for the ending, like not the ending, but towards the end. Oh my gosh, just when they start figuring out their feelings, like so good. Megan Quinn is so good with like tension and building it up. Like, it's so good. All right, I could just go on about that book forever, but we got to move on to the next one. All right, the next book I have to recommend to you guys is called By a Thread by Lucy Score. Lucy Score is honestly so good at writing banter. So this has a lot of banter. It is a romantic comedy. It has some spice in it. It is just like a good mixture of everything I love in a romantic comedy. So much build up, so much banter. The banter had me reacting, giggling, kicking my feet, screaming internally, like, and externally. It was so good. And honestly, those are the best books to me. Like, when they get a 5-star, when I am like actually physically reacting to it and verbally reacting to it and like covering my mouth. You know, if you've read books like that, you know what I'm talking about. It is just so good. So we have Dominic and Allie. Allie is working currently at a pizza shop when Dominic and his mother come in, and right off the bat they get off to a bad start. Dominic is acting like a jerk. Allie is, you know, being the fiery, strong woman she is. She is telling him off. She's telling him what's what. It's so good. It's so good. So it's an enemies to lovers romantic comedy. And then later on, like after that whole first initial scene between them, Allie runs into Dominic's mother. And I don't think at first she knew that it was his mother. Like, I don't know. I forgot what happened, but she runs into his mother, and his mother offers her a job at Dominic's. Well, it's like a family corporation. I think it like runs in the family, and his mother offers her a job at their company. And I don't think that she knew like what she was getting into. Like, I don't think she knew that Dominic worked there until she shows up the first day and Dominic is there. And oh my gosh, there's just so much banter and so much like pining over each other. It is dual POV, so that's another thing. I love dual POV in romance books. Like, I just do. If that's not your thing, you might not like it, but I love dual POV because I want to know what's going on inside each of their heads. You know what I mean? I don't want it just to be one-sided. And like I said, it just made me giggle. It made me kick my feet. Like, I love it so much, and I highly recommend it. So that is By a Thread by Lucy Score. So just to give you guys an idea on like the vibe for this book, the first thing that it says in the description of this book is Dominic was staring at me like he couldn't decide whether to chop me into pieces or pull my hair and French kiss me. Like, if that is your type of romance book, then you will love this book. All right, so the last book that I'm going to mention that I rated 4 or 5 stars. Well, this one's actually a 5-star for me. This one is probably, I read this twice. I'm probably going to read it another time here in a couple weeks because it's just so freaking good. This is called In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. This is a enemies to lovers. Well, it's not enemies to lovers. No, it's not. It's a grumpy sunshine. It follows Shay Zucconi. She, at the beginning of the book, she was literally about to get married. She was literally about to get married, and her fiance did not show up to the wedding. What an a-hole. Anyways, good for her though. Good for her because it led to the whole book happening. Anyways, and then she got a call that her step grandmother passed away and left her the family tulip farm. But there was a catch. She had to move to Rhode Island, Friendship, Rhode Island, and then she had to get married within 1 year. That was the catch. So she was hesitant at first, obviously. Like, I don't think it would be realistic for her to just be like, yeah, let's go. No, she was hesitant. She honestly didn't want to do it. And then she was just like, whatever, let's just do it. So she packed up and went to Friendship, Rhode Island. And then she ran into an old friend, Noah Barden. They knew each other way back when, went to high school together. And Noah has this man has always had the biggest crush on Shay. Like, he literally is in love with her. Shay kind of always wanted to leave Rhode Island and I guess move on to better things and go to the big city. And Noah kind of thought she was stuck up for that. I think at least I got that vibe, but Noah was like in love with her, and come to find out, he still is. So there's a lot of pining on Noah's side. Like, Noah was so in love with her, still is. And when they see each other for the first time, it is just chef's kiss. It is so, so good. And Noah also has a little niece that he is taking care of, and she is so adorable, and she curses like a sailor. It's so, so funny. So there's definitely, you know, some humor in here. A lot of pining. It's definitely Grumpy Sunshine, and I love Grumpy Sunshine. So if you like Grumpy Sunshine, you will definitely like this book. But yeah, it is such a good book. I need to read it again. I love Noah. It is so, so good. He has a mouth on him. Like, if you know what I mean. Yeah, he has a mouth. All right, so for the last part of this video, I'm going to be talking about books that I have been wanting to read and just haven't got to them yet, and I'm hoping to read them this year. So the first one is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I hope I'm saying that right. Okay, so yeah, I have not, like, I feel like everybody and their mother has read this book, but I have not gotten to read this yet. I started out with A Court of Thorn and Roses by her, and I don't know if this is like in the same world. Like, I thought I saw somewhere that it was kind of in the same world. So I don't really know much about this book, except that it follows a girl who is an assassin, and she is summoned to be in a competition to murder people. No, I'm not like that. Like, she's an assassin, and it's a fantasy world. She's not a murderer, but she's basically just been summoned to do this competition to win her freedom. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. And if it is anything similar to A Court of Thorn and Roses, then I think I will like it a lot. All right, the next book I really want to read is Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. I just really like pirates. Like, I am a Pirates of the Caribbean girly. I really love that story. I love romance, and this has some romance in it, I'm pretty sure. Well, I think it does. I mean, on the back it literally says, definitely for fans of Pirates of the Caribbean. So that's for me. But it is basically about a girl who has been sent on a mission to like infiltrate the enemy, like an enemy ship, and she does that, and then it goes from there. Like, so I'm guessing it's the enemies to lovers, which again, I love. I think that's the reason why I got this, and I love pirates and I love adventure, so I am super, super excited to read this. Lastly, I have What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. I really hope I'm saying that right. But basically this is just about a girl whose parents passed away suddenly when they were on a trip to Cairo, Illinois. I forgot what they did. I don't know if they were archaeologists or what, but they were in Egypt and they passed away. Like, they just tragically disappeared, died. I don't know what happens. Like, I guess I'm gonna figure it out. I think there's a little bit of romance in this, but it's just basically a mystery adventure. She's trying to figure out what happened to her parents because she knows that she's not being told the truth. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to read that. All right, I really hope you guys enjoyed my favorites video, my first video on BookTube, and hopefully not my last. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.